Just when you thought the 49ers season couldn't get any weirder, a 44-year-old grandpa is about to suit up and face them in 2 weeks. We'll talk about it. What is good, everybody? Welcome to another Gold Standard podcast, part of the Pro Football Insiders. I am Rob Stats Guerrera alongside Steph Sanchez. I'm pinch hitting for Jason Aponte today. Who's a little under the weather. Let me tell you, Steph, it has been a rough weekend for 49ers podcasters.
Maybe for the podcasters, but not for the 49ers. So we'll take it. And I didn't have that bad of a weekend, so I don't know where all this bad juju is coming from.
I don't know where it's coming from, but I don't like it. But nonetheless, the 49ers bye week is officially over. Kyle Shanahan's going to have his press conference tomorrow. There'll be practice tomorrow. We get back into the flow of things, which I'm super happy about. I very much missed not having anything to talk about for the week. I'm tired of watching other teams play football, damn it.
Rob, you're one of the few greats and committed, 49ers content creators out there. You continue to put on shows and keep your schedule going for Gold Standard Network, even during the bye week. You don't have a bye week, Rob.
That's right.
So, I mean, credit to you, because I certainly took the week off myself on 49 carats. But, I mean, yeah, I could see how watching other teams, it just leaves much to be desired, especially around the NFC, where it just seems like there's no top dog anywhere, and maybe even in the AFC now, right? Like there's maybe one or two teams that are like just really good, and from there, there's nobody inspiring me.
It makes me so frustrated that Bosa and Warner are gone for the year, because when you just look at the landscape of where we are right now, Steph, if those guys were there, even if one was there, but if both were there, the Niners could be, they'd be right in the mix for the number one seed, even though technically they still are right now. But they would get to the playoffs for sure. And you'd be like, Patrick Mahomes is not going to be there. Lamar Jackson is not going to be there. Joe Burrow is not going to be there. Aaron Rodgers has a broken wrist, and they always beat Aaron Rodgers anyway. Justin Herbert has a broken hand. Like the top quarterbacks in the AFC are like Drake May, who's never played in a playoff game, and Bo Nix, who's played in one. Like, this was your year to win a Super Bowl, 49er. We didn't think it was going to be, but as it's played out now, you look at the landscape and you're like, damn.
And don't remind me, Rob, because the Super Bowl is being played at Levi's Stadium, and it would have been a prime location, of course, for the 49ers to play in the Super Bowl then. And yes, they'd be in that conversation. And it's not that we're taking them out of the conversation completely, because, we talk about the playoffs, the 49ers are firmly in those conversations, and we know anything can happen once you get in the dance, especially with all these other teams, things getting kind of wonky, but it just doesn't feel like the dominant 49ers team that it was then. So like, we can't exactly propel them to, Super Bowl conversations, at least not yet. But yeah, if we had those guys, like, we'd be top ranked team, one of the top ranked teams in the NFC.
Jonathan O'Rourke says Jalen Hurts with 2 turnovers in one play was a great way to enjoy Monday. I mean, shoot, even Jimmy Garoppolo never did that.
Insanity.
BTL, with Tony, YouTube channel member. Thank you to all our YouTube channel members. Says, shout out to my fellow Zennial grandpa, Phil Rivers. P.S. Chris Forster, I'm only 5 months older than Rivers. I could always suit up at center. So let's get into it a little bit, Steph, because what we decided we want to do on the show today is a little fill in the blank. You guys play some games on the show from time to time. So let's play in a little fill in the blank here. I've come up with some questions, and the first one does have to do with Philip Rivers. So we'll start there, because if you hadn't heard, Philip Rivers is going to play quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts again, even though he hasn't played in a game since 2020, Steph. So the first one will go to you. 44-year-old Philip Rivers coming out of retirement to face the 49ers in 2 weeks is?
I'm going to say full circle. Like it certainly feels full circle for the 49ers when you remember that when the 49ers had a chance to make that 2023 Super Bowl after all the quarterback injuries in the NFC Championship game. They were ready to call up Phillip Rivers as an option. That would have been insane, if that happened, just signing someone literally to play for you for the Super Bowl. And I guess for the Colts is not quite like that, but they want to keep some of their Super Bowl hopes and dreams alive as well. And they think Phillip Rivers is the man to help them do that. I mean, you can't say he doesn't have experience.
He has experience. Why does this thing keep coming off the screen? Sorry, I'm trying to make the oh, there it is. I see what I did. Sorry, the little banner there. I want it to stay up so people know what we're talking about. I will say 44-year-old Rivers coming out of retirement to face the 49ers is perfect, because this season it just fits in with the cluster that this season has been. I love when the schedule comes out in May. It's one of my favorite days ever. I get giddy for it. I absolutely love it. And everyone says, not everyone, but a lot of people make fun of me and they say, well, what are you doing? Who cares? Why are you getting involved in this? Who knows what the games are going to be like at this time? And yes, they were correct, but this is even beyond that. When the schedule came out in May, none of us would have picked that Phillip Rivers, after half a decade of being out of the NFL, of being a semifinalist or whatever he was for the Hall of Fame, is now coming back to play. And by the way, if he takes a single snap, he has to wait another 5 years before he's eligible to get into the Hall of Fame again, because you have to wait 5 years after you retire. So, I mean, he doesn't care about that, obviously. But I'll tell you this, Steph, I'm nervous about it. I would much rather face Riley Green than Phillip Rivers, wouldn't you, in 2 weeks?
Riley Leonard. I mean, and they still could, right? I mean, Riley Leonard is at risk of not playing this upcoming week, right? Because I saw he has an injury, but maybe they say, let's just keep him going. But, again, you can't really look to a rookie. You're looking for someone with experience. I mean, that's why Joe Flacco came back into the NFL as well. And you can't say that it doesn't work out. I mean, experience goes a long way, especially for teams that are already kind of built around the quarterback, for a guy to just come in and basically execute the offense. I mean, you have Jonathan Taylor over there. You have a good defense. So I think they are probably going to just roll with Phillip Rivers. I mean, it's better than, well, I don't even want to say it's better than facing Daniel Jones, because Daniel Jones was like, in the last few games, was starting to
It's true.
go down the bad path. And, he was playing through injury even before the Achilles tear. So, but I mean, I gotta see it first, Rob, before I say I'm nervous.
Well, here's the thing. The other, or Riley Leonard, I don't know why I keep saying Riley Green. He's a rookie. He hasn't seen NFL defenses. I feel like Robert Saleh would be able to confuse him. I don't know. That gives me agita. Phil Rivers has seen a lot of defenses. It's not like this 49ers defense is particularly, full of superstars at this particular juncture. I don't love it. And at PTL, what Tony points out, Vegas wouldn't even give you odds on Phillip Rivers coming out of retirement to play in the NFL this year. But, Steph, if you could pick one former 49er to come out of retirement to join the team right now, it would be?
I'm going Aldon Smith. Like, I don't know if he's technically, if he'd be allowed. I mean, has he technically retired from football? I don't know. I mean, I think so, but his playing days seem to be behind him. But I think that would be the spark that the 49ers need. And by the way, Rob, while we're talking about age, Aldon Smith is still just 36 years old. I mean, you remember he was very young when he played for the 49ers. And so if he came back, like, I think he could probably give the 49ers some help.
Okay. I didn't think of Aldon Smith at all, but ding, 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 hold all calls. We have a winner. First of all, this team could desperately use it.
There's about the need. Yeah.
No question about it. And I always go back to that interview that Joe Staley did with Trent Williams, where somebody asked them, who's the toughest guy you ever faced? And at the same time, they both said Aldon Smith, literally at the same time, without knowing who the other one was going to say. He was a freak. He was, when he was right on the field, he was ridiculous. He comes right into the league at 22 years old, 14 sacks. Next year, 19 and a half sacks. And the year after that, 8.5 sacks in 11 games. The guy was a menace out there on the field. That you win. You win, Steph, because I don't have anybody better than that. You know, if Eddie Pinheiro wasn't coming back this week, I would have said Robbie Gould.
Seriously, come on. We could do better than a kicker, Rob. I know you got that stupid kicker music, but Jesus. He's pulling it up. There he goes.
Kicker update. I mean, you brought it up. It's not even my fault. I mean, when you put it on the tee for me like that, I'm going to hit it.
A word.
My first instinct was to go Patrick Willis, but he's 40 now. And you don't necessarily want a 40-year-old linebacker in there, even though the 49ers could use him. Because I was trying to think of like who can the 49ers use. But Aldon Smith is it. I don't have an answer better than that.
And here's the other thing with that question is people are going to name someone like a Jerry Rice, but just given I think, Rob, that you posed this question or this fill in the blank because of the Phillip Rivers news, right? And because he's 44 coming out of retirement. So I think we're not saying bring someone out of retirement and suddenly they're in their prime age. We're saying right now, present day, who are you bringing in? And I think, Aldon Smith probably the choice there.
James White says, too bad the Colts couldn't get Luck to come back. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to get a former quarterback to come back and play for you and you're the Colts, damn, man. But he's like the GM at Stanford now. So, like, he's not doing that. I mean, how old is Andrew Luck? I don't even know. I bet he's still in his, let's see, is he 40 yet? He's 36.
No, I was gonna say, there's no way he's 40.
Yeah. Like someone says Frank Gore. I mean, listen, I'm sure
he could still break some tackles. I mean, come on.
If you gave him the option. Same thing with Jerry. If you were like, Jerry, do you want to suit up right now? He'd probably be like, yes, I do want to. He wouldn't, but he would want to because he's just a crazy person like that. All right. Do you want to introduce the next one on the list?
All right. Yeah. All right. So the 49ers will be blank coming off the bye this week.
The fill in the blank I had would be, if I could put the right one on the screen. The answer that I had is the 49ers will be better tacklers coming off the break. They were really struggling the last time we saw them. And I think it was just because they're tired. They had not had a break for 14 or 13 straight weeks. And they're not the best tacklers anyway. But when you combine that with fatigue, you know, what's that expression? Fatigue makes cowards of us all. I think it matters. I think they're going to come out against the Titans and they are going to be flying all over the place. They see it now. They see the light at the end of the tunnel. They know what's at stake. And I think they are going to go out and just start smashing people.
That's actually a great one. I thought about this one and I didn't want to be like super cliche. I don't want to say like refreshed or like, I kind of wanted to go with motivated, like they'll be motivated coming off the bye week. And then I said, they'll be the 6th seed coming off the bye this week. Like that's a fact, right? But I think those two go hand in hand. The fact that because they've moved up to the 6th seed, to your point, they're seeing it convicted. That's a great word. And do you still have that soundbite?
Oh, man.
You got to have it somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Convicted.
Yep. I still got 3 of them.
How many versions of that do you have?
I got 3, and then I got his new one this year.
Consensus.
Oh, that's great. Convicted is a good one. I mean, because it's like, yes, we're the 6th seed, and we're really going to play like it. You know, I think that's what we're going to see moving forward with this team, and you know, I think them being refreshed and you know the tackling standpoint, like that's all gonna. I think go into all of that. Like they're going to look like a more complete team because they were already starting to. But I think you're right. There's probably some moments where the fact that their bye week was so late, maybe, you know, just kind of weighing on them a little bit. Now they could get out there and be a little more refocused and look like the 6th seed and maybe probably even better than that. And they could probably end up finishing better than that.
I just want to know why, when I gave my answer, you were like, that's actually good.
Did I say that?
Why'd you throw the actually in there?
Oh, I mean, I kind of wish I had thought of something like that, you know?
Okay, well, you know what? Then we're even because that Alden Smith was the best friggin' answer that anybody could have had. All right, next up on the list, Brock Purdy will throw blank touchdown passes against the Titans.
I say two. I say two. I wouldn't put it past him that he gets another maybe running touchdown. I don't know, but I do think this is going to be potentially a Christian McCaffrey game or just a game where Brock Purdy again doesn't have to do too much. So I think two passing touchdowns, and I could see two rushing touchdowns or one rushing touchdown and one receiving touchdown for Christian McCaffrey in this one as well. And hopefully McCaffrey looks refreshed as well, but we're not talking about McCaffrey here. I think Brock Purdy, though, is just going to look a little more dialed in, just like we've seen him in the last game.
I'm going to go with 0 touchdown passes
What?
against the Titans. Here's my conspiracy. Let me take my tinfoil hat, put it on. Brock wants to run for touchdowns because he wants to break out more dance moves. He did the Dougie. Everybody, Brock can dance. Did you see that clip of him? He does the Michael Jackson spin.
Yeah, he's got moves.
He's got moves. I think he wants to show them off, and he can't do that if he throws a touchdown pass. It's not the same. You can't like bust out an end zone celebration when you throw a touchdown pass. You got to run it in yourself. Maybe it'll be a sneak, but whatever. But Brock's going to do it. He's going to run into the end zone. He's going to bust out with another move.
I think Jenna Purdy, his wife, needs to do an interview and tell us just how many moves he has, because I think Brock mentioned that Jenna knew that he could do the Dougie and has seen him do it, and I wonder what other moves, like dance moves, he has that she could probably fill us in on that only she knows about. He can dance.
Yeah,
I can't even really do the Dougie like that.
Look at me.
Okay, no one thought you could do it in the first place, Rob.
That's completely fair. All right, what's the next one?
All right, the best 49ers coach the rest of the regular season will be blank.
This one is easy. It's Kyle Shanahan, and I don't think it's close. Kyle is at his best when he has information, and now he has more. With the bye week being so late, he has so much more information than normal that he is going to be able to make adjustments during this bye week. And I think this offense is going to cook the rest of the year. And I know the competition ratchets up. I don't care. I think that one benefit of this bye week is that Kyle has had more time to see what everybody is doing and adjust and see how teams are playing the 49ers and adjust to it. I think it's going to be Kyle Shanahan the rest of the way.
Yeah, I actually had Kyle Shanahan for mine as well, but I didn't think it was as easy a decision as you kind of said it was. I kind of went back and forth between Robert Saleh. I even considered Brant Boyer, believe it or not, because I think all of those coaches in their own right have had their, their positions or their units playing at a high level, right? I mean, Brant Boyer started off slow, but has completely 180 flipped this special teams unit, and he has to get credit for that. But the reason that I didn't want to go with him, I don't think it could get much better. I mean, they're in my mind like a top 5 special teams unit right now. So I think given that, I don't know if he could get better. I think they stay about the same. And kind of the same with Robert Saleh. I think Robert Saleh's been doing a tremendous job, obviously, with what he's been able to do with the defense being as shorthanded as it's been, moving pieces. You get different guys as pass rushers in and out of the lineup with some injuries. And so that's been impressive. But I don't know how much higher the ceiling is. I do know that for the offense, it does feel like they're just getting into a rhythm and they're just barely scratching the surface of their potential. I mean, you can see it, right? You can kind of say that about the defense too, but talent wise, I think that's where it gets capped. So the talent is all on the offensive side, and that's where I think the rest of the season we're really going to see Kyle Shanahan shine. I like the reason that you gave, though, that he could do more with all the information that he has this late in the season. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm even more pumped about the offense than I was before we started. Let's go.
Yeah, I think it's going to be just buckle up the rest of the way. I think it's going to be so much fun. I'm glad I get to intro this one because I want you to answer it first. Blank is the most important sophomore player for the 49ers down the stretch.
This one's tough, actually. There's a few guys that I think are really important and have been really important.
And just for the record, the sophomore players meaning 2024 draft class. So
Yeah,
Pearsall, Renardo Green, Dominic Pooney, Malik Mustafa, Garendo Cowing, or Tatum Bethune.
I'll say, yeah, I think Mustafa's a good one. I think you can also say Dominic Pooney just because we saw what a less than 100% or a less than healthy Dominic Pooney looked like to start the season. It wasn't pretty, right? And I can't imagine what his backup would look like, right? So he's obviously important. You could say that about literally every starting offensive lineman on this team. But I think I'm going to go with Mustafa because this defense has needed everybody to step up. And I think even just the smallest bit of anyone stepping up could do big things for the grand scheme of the defense. Yeah. And I think since I just read that comment, so he came into my mind. Since Malik Mustafa has come back from his injury, I feel like every week he's improved. And then I've had a lot to say about, this secondary, in particular, the safeties and kind of what they lack. Their skill sets overlap, Jair Brown and Mustafa, right? But I do think that Mustafa could improve in the coverage aspect of things. And if we continue to see the improvements week in and week out, by the end of the years, that's something that's a little bit better for him. It could be. So yeah, I'm going to say he's pretty important. I love the fire that he plays with, just the way he attacks ball carriers, and he's a heat-seeking missile. That's the type of energy I think you kind of missed when you don't have a guy like, Dre Greenlaw from last year, or if you don't have, your Fred Warner out there. That he sets the tone with some of the hits that he puts on guys, and I think, yeah, that's going to be important going forward.
I wanted you to answer first because I wanted you to give the opportunity to take Ricky Pearsall. To me, it's Ricky Pearsall, but I didn't want to. To me, it was like,
theoretically, it's like
I didn't want to steal it. But here's why I say that: you are going to be playing some better teams now. You're not going to be able to have 12, 13, 14 play drives against better defenses. You're going to need explosive plays. And Ricky Pearsall is one of the only guys on this offense that can truly give you, a 40, 50, 60-yard play. Kittle can, but hasn't, doesn't give you a ton of those. Christian McCaffrey doesn't give you those this season. He just hasn't. I think his longest run of the year is 20 yards, right? They need a guy that can make a chunk big play. And Pearsall was that guy early in the season. He hasn't been since he's come back. He hasn't really done much of anything. So I'm hoping that he turns it on here. But to me, he's going to be the most important guy down the stretch because you're going to need those plays where it's just like a lightning strike and all of a sudden, boom, you got a touchdown, or you're set up for a touchdown right away. And you don't have to work as hard to go all the way down the field again and again and again.
I do agree. He needs to be more involved, and I don't know why he really hasn't been since he's come back. I don't know if it's just from the time that Pearsall and Purdy had away from each other, I guess, and not having that practice time together because they were both hurt at different points. So hopefully with the bye week, with the couple extra days of practice that they did get, that's something that they could work on, and maybe we do see Ricky Pearsall 2.0 for the rest of the season. Then I would say it's important because then he's shown that it's something that the 49ers could use and need. I didn't want to say him because they've been fine to this point without those contributions, but it'd be definitely nice to get him going and to use everybody on this offense and go back to a pick your poison type of offense, because that's when the 49ers are most dangerous.
You give me Pearsall on the outside, Kittle over the middle, and Christian McCaffrey everywhere else. You could do a hell of a lot worse than that. When it's Juwan Jennings instead of Ricky Pearsall, I'm sorry, it's just not the same. Now, we have a bunch more questions to go, and we're going to get to those in a minute. But first, want to give you a little bit of a word from Sleeper. You know we love Sleeper here on the show. Steph and Jay use it for fantasy. You can use it for that. You can use it for picks. You can use it for news. If you go right there on the home app, the current picture is the Eagles positivity bunny that looks all deflated. I don't think this is a real story, but it is hilarious nonetheless that they put a positivity inflatable bunny in the locker room. But they have news on the app. There's the Phillip River news from Adam Schefter. So you should definitely go and check it out. And if you sign up and use the app, you can get a free $20 play. You don't even have to deposit any money. So go and check that out. And if you want to deposit money, use our code GSP. You get up to a 100% match, up to $100 on your first deposit. You can see the app right on my screen. I haven't even really looked a ton at the Tennessee numbers yet because I was still kind of in bye week mode. So if you go over, you scroll to the top of the screen, they have a bunch of things. We were talking about Brock Purdy's touchdown passes. Let's go see. Brock Purdy, 1.5 passing touchdowns. Would you take more or less than 1.5 passing touchdowns for Brock this week?
I go more. I said 2.
Boom. There you go. You lock it in. You make your picks. Now, you got to pick somebody from a different team also. So you got to pick at least 2 different teams. But we give you the picks every Friday here on the Gold Standard Podcast Network. So no worries there. We won't steer you wrong. I promise. And again, use our code GSP for a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. Halfway through our fill in the blank questions here on today's program. This one, I think, is going to generate a little bit of debate. I try to make these as spicy as possible, but this one I think is a simple question, but it's going to cause some debate. Right now, blank would be the best possible wild card playoff matchup for the 49ers.
Gosh. Wild. I'm just looking at the standings really quick and trying to gauge like what's possible.
So right now, the Rams would get the bye. The Packers are the 2 seed, so they would play the Bears. The Eagles are the 3. They would play the Niners, and then the Bucks would play Tampa. That's the 4-5 matchup.
I mean, I saw someone point this out. I think it was John Chapman that as it stands, the 49ers could play the Panthers in Carolina. That would be kind of wild, just given how that went down. I still think the 49ers would be favored in that one, obviously. Yeah. But also, let's see. I mean, anything having to do with the Seahawks, anything with NFC West is going to be wild. And I see a lot of people always saying that they would want to play an NFC West team.
No, I wouldn't.
Exactly. So I'm split on this because I do kind of see it from both sides. It's like, yes, it's the toughest matchup you're going to get, undoubtedly. I think 2 weeks ago, maybe like you would have been okay with that. But so the people who are pro going up against an NFC West team in the playoffs, think of it this way. There's no team you know better than those NFC West teams, and that you feel can give you an advantage. But I'm also like, doesn't it give the other team an advantage as well? And the 49ers, like against the Rams, you split against them. You still have to play your second game against the Seahawks. So theoretically, let's say it's the Seahawks, you would have just recently you'd have just played them the week prior, right? Or that week 18 game. And then you play them the following week. I mean, who does that favor? The team who loses or the team that won? And we don't know. We don't know who that team is yet, right? But wild, that would be wild, Rob. There's how many like momentous, I don't know this word, momentous matchups have we had against the Seahawks that have mattered like so much, like win or lose, winner takes all kind of thing against them. And it would just be another one in the book of the rivalry.
I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles. I agree with the chat. A lot of people in the chat saying Eagles. Steph, they
Oh,
hate each other.
I'd love to beat the brakes off the Eagles.
They can't stand each other. That game on Monday was, I've never seen anything
They're
like.
awful.
They're awful. They have so many good players on offense, and their offense is terrible. Their running game is worse than the 49ers running game. The Eagles were everybody's champion for offensive line play, right? Oh, we got to get an offensive line like the Eagles. We got to get a, we don't invest in a line like the Eagles do. How the Eagles look now? How's their run game look now? So it's crazy to me how they could be, they're inoperable on offense at times. They do it to themselves. If they could ever get their stuff together, they'd be obviously a huge threat. And they just won the Super Bowl last year. They hate each other. You saw it in 2023. You're seeing it this year. They could completely take themselves out of the game. The 49ers don't even have to be good to beat. The Chargers played like ass on Monday, and they won.
Well, the only thing is that their defense is really good, and their defense carries them. Like, it's carried them all year because their offense can't get anything going. But I think the 49ers could beat them. The reason that I wouldn't pick that is because I don't know if that game would be wild. I kind of feel like it'd be boring. Like, it would be satisfying if I'm a 49er fan, yeah. But I don't know. I kind of I want a game that gets my blood pressure going, heart rate up, goes down to the last play. That's what I want. With the 49ers winning, of course.
Of course. All right, what's next?
All right, we've got the 49ers will go blank the rest of the way. So predict their record.
I'm going to take the easy way out. I'm going to say 2-2. It's pretty simple. You beat the Titans, you beat the Colts, you lose to the Bears, and you lose to the Seahawks. But when I make record predictions like this, I generally try to be very conservative. I really do think they can beat the Bears. Now, the Bears defense loves to get turnovers. They're very good at that. But the Bears have real issues just straight up completing passes through the air. But I still think between the defense and the ground game, they'll be able to get the win. So I'll say 2-2, but that would put the 49ers at 11-6, and they're in the playoffs at 11-6. Yeah. No question about it.
Yeah, I like 2-2, but just to kind of differentiate there and, be as optimistic as I like to be, I'm going to go 3-1 because I think I would have gone 2-2 if the 49ers were playing, Daniel Jones and the Colts. And I mean, that one could still go either way to me. But I'm going to be optimistic and say they win that one. I think they beat the Bears as well. The caveat with that Bears game, you have to stop the run.
Yeah.
Have to. Their run game is really good. And, Ben Johnson always has really good rushing defenses. Offenses. He's very creative with their plays. But if you can stop the run, that's your path to victory because as you mentioned, Rob, like their pass game, Caleb Williams, you can't always depend on him to get the job done if needed. And so I think if the 49ers do come out of this bye week and they're better tacklers, suddenly, I feel better about that Week 17 game, right? And if you feel like Robert Saleh has got his defense figured out and what he wants to do, I feel better about it. But I do think that Week 18 one will be a loss for the Niners.
I think that Ben Johnson has a bone to pick. I think he's I'm
sure he does.
We screwed the pooch in the NFC Championship game. We should have run it down their throats. Every time they turned the ball over on downs, it was because Jared Goff couldn't complete a pass. I think he's I'm going to run it down their throats. So that game it's going to be fascinating to watch for sure. But hopefully the 49ers can have a couple more wins before they get there. All right, how about this one? Jauan Jennings deserves to get punched in the blank after all his trash talk.
I think he already got punched in the worst place a man could get punched, right? So,
true.
Maybe he already got what he deserved. We still don't even know what he said. I know Jauan Jennings said it wasn't that bad. I believe that. I believe it probably wasn't as bad as Harris made it out to be, but yeah.
I want him punched.
You want him punched again?
In the jaw so that he bites his tongue so that he can't talk any more trash and we don't have to hear about this stupid story anymore. Who cares? What? Juwan Jennings said some mean things and the Browns didn't like it. Now we got to ask Juwan, does he like it? This is such a dumb story. It's so dumb.
Sounded like Ben Stiller.
Juwan Jennings makes more headlines for himself for a guy that is utterly replaceable and forgettable for this team. All we do is talk about Juwan Jennings. I'm tired of it, man. You're not a main character, dude. Sorry. I know you want to be. You're not.
It's not like he decided he was going to have Shelby Harris, say these comments. Like, it's not like he knew he was going to be the topic of discussion.
He's a hoe, and I want that known.
It does make me smile every time.
That is a great quote.
I want that known. All right. I'm skipping the next question because I don't like it. I don't know why I put it in there, so I'm skipping it. And I'm going to go to the second to last question. If I could ask Kyle Shanahan one question and get a truthful answer, it would be what, Steph?
Can you go first? I don't.
Yes, I can. My question would be, what changed your mind about fourth downs? If you
That's a good one. That's fascinating.
Other than, I can't remember the order off the top of my head, but I believe the Niners are second when it comes to going for it in situations when you should go for it. I think Detroit's number one, then I think the Niners are two, and the Rams are three of all people, who the Rams are always super conservative too. But he has been, from the jump this year, he has been much more aggressive on fourth down. I have loved it. I think it's been a significant factor in helping them get the record as good as it's been this year. And he'll never admit that anything has changed because Kyle doesn't ever really do that. But if I could get the actual answer, I would want to know, because it is awesome and I love it and I hope it continues.
Yeah, finally listening to his analytics team, I guess, right? Finally. That's a good one. I mean, I don't have the exact question that I would ask, but it'd probably be along the lines of rookie wide receivers, the development of rookie wide receivers, and why it usually just is so difficult for them to get going in his offense. And I guess I would challenge him if it's a thing with the playbook. Is it a reflection of him that, wide receivers come into this offense and have a hard time picking it up, have a hard time knowing what route? I don't know, right? But it would kind of be along the lines of that, because I do think the 49ers are probably going to be in a position where they're going to go and get a wide receiver next season in the draft. And I think, Rob, that's going to have to be a wide receiver that plays and contributes immediately. That's just me, right?
Imagine that. What a world.
So given that, I think to have that development in place and to ensure that whichever rookie comes in is going to be able to contribute right away, I think that's an important question to ask.
Son of Sam wants to know, what's the question I skipped? The question I skipped was, the 49ers will lock off a playoff spot by week blank, but there's really no way to know because of all the different permutations and all the different things that could happen. So that's why I skipped it. But that was the question that I skipped. And the final fill in the blank question, if you could ask John Lynch one question, Steph, it would be what? I know
what the hell happened with the Brandon Ayuk situation. But also, you also did add the caveat with Kyle Shanahan, and I would assume this applies with John Lynch too. If you were to get them to answer it honestly, I don't know if we'll ever get that from John Lynch or Kyle, to be fair. But I think John Lynch's answers are too reviewed by PR beforehand for us to ever get a truthful answer. But I'm getting an echo. I don't know if you're hearing that.
No, I don't hear it.
Oh, that's weird. But yeah, that would be the question that I would ask.
Mine is exactly the same. What did Brandon Ayuk do to get his guarantees voided? That's the question. That is the number one question. We'll never find out until Brandon Ayuk is traded, and then we will find out immediately, because I'm sure the whole 49ers beat knows already, but they're not going to report it because the 49ers don't want it out there. So they'll wait, just like they did when Trey Lance was traded. And then all of a sudden they started reporting the thing that everybody knew, which is that the veterans went to Kyle and asked them not to put Trey on the field back in 2021. That's what the 49ers beat does. They wait till it's safe to report stuff, and then they report it. So we'll find out eventually. As soon as Brandon Ayuk is not on the 49ers, we'll find out exactly what he did or didn't do to get his money voided. But that is all the fill-in-the-blank questions we have for this week. Thank God the bye week is over. Hopefully, Jay will be back next week. I'm still glad to be here this week after the weekend I had, but we're here.
What the hell happened to you this weekend?
I was in the hospital.
I didn't know that.
I did the show with Michelle on Friday and drove to the emergency room immediately after the show.
What happened?
I was having chest pains and dizziness and heart palpitations. It was very terrifying. I was in the hospital all weekend.
And the 49ers didn't even play, and you're over here,
right,
having heart palpitations. But no, I'm glad you're okay and that you're here. Sorry I missed that. I would have texted you. I was just
that's okay.
Checked out from Twitter.
Me and Jay were both 49ers podcasters were in hospital gowns at one point over the weekend. So this is craziness, but we're okay. We're getting it together here, just like the 49ers are. This is going to be so fun. Steph, do you know my birthday is Wild Card Weekend?
Oh, then you have to go to that game, right?
Oh, man, that's what everybody, but it's going to be a road game.
That's all the more reason to go. Road games are so much funner, like objectively funner. I love 49er fans, but I feel like it's different. It's way different. And I know, Rob, now you've been to a home game, so you know what that's like. I guess you've been to an away game too, right?
Nope.
No, you haven't. Okay,
nope.
So you must do it. And especially for a playoff atmosphere, like it's just going to be, it'll be electric for sure.
Yeah, and they're going to win. They're going to win. Like every time they go to the playoffs with Kyle Shanahan, they go to the NFC Championship game. Like that's a true statement of fact. So it would be fun, but we'll see. We'll take it one step at a time.
You got to go.
First up, beat the Titans. And we'll go from there. We'll figure out if Grandpa Rivers is going to be there with Indianapolis, and we'll see if he's going to play. But that's going to do it for this edition of the show. Thank you, everybody. Please like this video. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the 49 Carats YouTube channel as well. Steph does great work over there, as you can clearly tell, because she does great work here. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and we'll talk tomorrow.